This is a 12-hour race with 62 teams and my teammate is a Formula 1 driver.
Kalispera, Giancarlo Fisichella ed
Yes, in this video I will team up with Giancarlo Fisichella. Fisichella raced in Formula 1 from 1996 to 2009. He had an impressive career with 19 podiums and 3 wins. And right from day one he showed his potential. And after his long stint in F1, he changed his focus to endurance racing, where he's still competing to this day at the age of 52. And today he's here racing a 12-hour event and I'm on his team, Team Fisichella. There are 5 drivers in our team: myself, Giancarlo Fisichella, Naum Sopov, a Bulgarian influencer, and Fisichella's son Christopher and his daughter Carolina. And I want to give a huge thank you to the Karting Events Bulgaria for this amazing opportunity. And as I said, this race will be 12 hours long, and of course, like many races that I do, it's raining. We are starting with a 30-minute qualifying session. Fisichella will go out to do 5 laps, and then I'll get in to finish the session. He's going out first because he hasn't done any practice yet, while his kids did a few practice sessions the day before. Fisichella left us all speechless because he went out on a track he didn't know in the rain. He was driving a kart he had never driven before. He did just 5 laps, and he said the 20th fastest time at the moment. That is seriously impressive, especially considering that all the teams here are very experienced in the rain. And then I got in, and I know I can improve a lot, but we got unlucky like every other team because the rest of the session was full of yellow flags. I also did this. That was a qualifying, and now there's a big break, more than an hour before the race starts, and all eyes are on Team Fisichella. I want to get the team into race mode as quickly as possible, so I started explaining a smart strategy we could use at the start of the race. And thankfully, because of the rain, the race will begin with a rolling start instead of the classic Le Mans style, so things will be much calmer and controlled in the beginning. And this was the plan. I will start the race, and as soon as the pit window opens, in the first 15 minutes, I will come in and change only the kart. And then after 10 minutes, I'll pit again, and Fisichella will get in for a long stint. And we did this because we didn't expect any more rain, and the track was drying up. So we wanted to do some pits when the track is still wet. So we have one goal: to stay on track. No battles, no crazy overtakes, no unnecessary risks. And it's time for the race start. And the race will not start in the finish line, but in the tightest part of the track for safety. And green flag, let's go. And just like we said, no fighting, just keep it clean. But I can already see the guy in front of me is going a bit slow, and I don't want to waste any time right off the bat. So at the first chance, I dive down on the inside, hook on the curbs, and we take a position. And something kind of unusual happened in this race, something I personally had never seen before. Usually when it rains, we try to avoid the racing line, because it gets super slippery, because we are using slick tires. So we are going for very wide lines to find grip off the rubbered areas. But in this case, the inside line had tons of grip. That's probably because the track surface is completely new. But it was not only this, the curbs in this track are pretty tall, and you can hook your kart onto the inner edge, and you feel like it is pulling you into the corner. This of course makes overtaking a bit trickier because it's like everyone is defending. On the flip side though, it's kinda safer because you're not pushing the limits on the edge of the track, where it's very easy to slide off. Right here you can see there are some small battles going on. I'm not going to push hard. We're losing some positions, we are gaining some positions, we are basically holding the position, but we are doing okay. What I'm waiting now is the time to pass those 15 minutes I told you, so that the pit's open. And the only thing I want right now is to keep it on track. But here we go, now I'm going to get topped a bit from behind, and it's just enough to knock me off the line. Watch how much ground I lose. But like we said, that's not the goal right now. We are focused, we are staying calm, and we are waiting for a call. And as soon as the pit window opens, they call me in for our first pit stop. We head into the pits, and this time we are going only to swap the kart, which is allowed in our category. There are 3 classes: it's the Pro, the Gold, and the Silver. And today we are racing in Gold. All the classes are racing together on track, using the same cars, but the only difference is down to the number of the required pit stops and the competitiveness of the teams. This time I have to stay out for at least 10 minutes. That's the minimum per stint. The maximum today is 1 hour. And the goal now is of course the same, just to deliver a clean 10-minute stint, no mistakes. And I know I said that we should take it easy on these first 2 stints, but this doesn't mean that we want to be slow. In the end, my team will leave me out for 16 minutes, and by now the truck is starting to change fast. Even though it's still cloudy, the truck is drying up really fast. The grip will change lap by lap. The truck will get faster, and when this happens, things can get a lot trickier. Now I'm waiting for my team to tell me over the radio when to pit, and suddenly I hear Fisichella's voice on the radio. And yeah, to be driving while talking to Fisichella on the radio, that's something I never imagined that will happen when I first started this channel.
Okay. I can see you.
You will sit in the first one. Did you get your weight?
Yes.
Leave like 226, 227 lift. Okay, go. I'll talk to you again in 5 minutes.
Famous last words, because right after that, our radio died for some reason. So from this point on, we got zero communications with the drivers on truck.
It's nice inside.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You don't look very nice.
And now it's Fisichella's first stint, and it's a very difficult point where the truck goes from wet to dry. And if that challenge alone is not enough, let me remind you that Fisichella hasn't done any practice at all. And he's entering a truck where other drivers have already been driving for quite a while, so he has to find his rhythm quickly. And he will soon see that there's no such thing as politeness, especially in this kind of races. Everyone is tough, each one has their own battle, and especially here, with a friend in the red suit in the left, the battles on the first laps will be quite intense. Fisichella will try to get back ahead of him quickly, but don't think that he puts him off or anything like that. Guys, the truck has no grip, so if you miss the line, the car might slide outwards without stopping. At first, things were a bit tough for Fisichella, but then he'll find his rhythm, because come on guys, it's Fisichella. Of course he'll find a good pace. But unfortunately we won't see much of this stint, because I told my crew to put the camera on his helmet and they messed it up. All we get to see is that. But don't worry, in his next stint we'll have some killer on board footage.
Very good job.
Yeah.
Very good job.
Oh, thank you. I lost a bit to learn
The traffic.
the line and the traffic.
It's changing right now, right?
Changing a bit, but how long was the stint?
Almost 40 minutes or 40 minutes, something like this. Are you good?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Then Naum, our other teammate, went in and did really well, and after that it was Christopher's turn, Fisichella's son. He had some crazy strong mentality, went in totally fired up, and made an impressive entrance to the truck. He really went for it in the first corner, but likely it will not happen again. Fisichella's kids are not super active into motorsports, but they do karting, and you can tell it's in their blood by how they handle the vehicle. Chris will struggle a bit at first, which is normal. He has entered a truck that's changing lap by lap, and he has to adapt to a driving style that he's not used to. But about 20 minutes into his stint, the sun will come out and the truck will begin to drive very fast. And now everyone's driving with classic racing lines. Next comes Carolina, Fisichella's daughter, but I don't have any onboard footage of her, and sadly things didn't go well. She got pushed off the truck several times and we lost a lot of time, so things were not going really great. At this point, we've dropped out of top 10 in gold category, and now it's my turn.
Christopher is gone there.
Yeah.
We enter the truck, and now it's almost as fast as it would be on dry. I'm going in, and you always need 2-3 laps to get on pace and to get the tires on temperature. But I'm struggling a bit. Someone passes me in every corner. The bad part is that I can see them pulling away from me in the straights. So I'm suspecting that maybe my engine is a bit weaker, but what can I do now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't have any way to communicate with my pit to tell them that there's a problem, because we would make a call and I would pit to change the cars. start. But we cannot do this right now, and we start losing ground. And I can see there's an endless train of cars behind me, and they all want to pass me. And okay, I don't want to blame everything on the kart. The kart was a bit slower, but maybe I could have driven a bit better too. Even so, the stint didn't go that badly. It wasn't good, but it wasn't a disaster either. And I think it was fun because I was in the middle of those trains. There were some very good battles, but overall, when you don't have a good pace, you can't really say that it was a good stint. But anyways, I don't want to talk about this stint because next up is one of Fisichella's and one of mine, and both stints will be fire. And guys, if you like my videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. This is Fisichella's second stint. It's basically the first time he's entering in a clean and dry truck. And this time you can see in the steering wheel that he's using a Racebox. I use Racebox as well, but I use a different version. Racebox makes high quality GPS devices for motorsports. And it helps a lot because you can see your lap times while you're racing. You can see live delta. It's a very nice device, really helpful. And if you're interested, I will put the link in the description. And with the code GEORGE15, you will get 15% discount. And I know we are all curious to see how Fisichella will do. In the beginning he was a bit cautious. He makes a few sharp steering inputs, but it seems like he's trying to see how much grip the track has. And just when he looks calm, he starts his second lap. And out of nowhere, guys, this killer appears. That's what you call a dive bomb. And now he starts dropping the lap times. At first he was doing laps in 54 flat. The fastest driver in the front of the pack were lapping 53s though. So he was 1 second off, but he has just started. And he will definitely improve. Right? Right. A little bit after, he starts lapping at 53.8, then 53.7. Anyone who got in front of him was just prey. And he keeps driving faster and faster. He was driving like a robot. He was unlocking something in every lap. And guys, okay, we all expected that he will be fast, no doubt. He was an F1 driver for many years, and his experience is insane. We're talking about someone who was in the top of the world for years. But we have seen experienced drivers come in and they cannot find pace quickly. Because even though these are rental cars and a little bit slow, the level of competition, especially here in Bulgaria, it's crazy high. For someone to come in and do laps like this, I'm telling you that it's not easy. And what he's doing is incredible. And of course, he showed us all what it really means to be an F1 driver. A little bit later, he will get passed by two guys. And something happens that I really liked. Up to that point, his lap times dropped to 53.3. But once they pass him, he sees exactly what they were doing differently. And he will even overtake one of the two guys back. And his lap times drop even lower to 53.2 to 53.1 until he hits 53 flat. And at that point, he was among the top 3 fastest drivers on the truck. And I'm telling you again, guys, what he does is not easy. I really like how aggressive he is on the truck and how he adapts his driving to what the kart requires. And as time goes on, he becomes smoother with the steering, making smaller and smaller inputs. And maybe we were a little bit unlucky because he didn't have much traffic in the stint. I would really love to see him in with this crazy pace weaving through slower drivers. That would have been epic. But hey, let's not get greedy, guys. We are watching on board footage of Fisichella racing in a 12-hour rental go-kart race. That alone sounds insane. And he'll keep driving like this until the end of his stint, which will last 50 minutes. He wanted to do 40 minutes, but since he was going that fast, I decided to leave him for another 10 minutes. After all, I'm the strategist. I can do whatever I want to.
Great, great.
Yeah, it was consistent.
Yeah, insanely consistent.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It's like you're an F1 driver or something.
Just like that, we are reaching the halfway point of the race. Christopher is now inside driving, and we are about to switch the track direction. This organizer, every time on the middle of the race, he's changing the track direction. So it's like racing on 2 different tracks in a single event. And guys, the race isn't going so well. We have had lots of bad luck, and we lost a lot of time. And we have also been hit with a 1-lap penalty, so our race is pretty much over. But there's something I want. I want to do a really strong stint. So far, I've only done 1 real stint, and it didn't go well. The kart wasn't performing at its best, but my driving could have been better too.
Cool, okay.
Do you need any help? Do you need any help?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
So this stint is for me, and my goal to beat Fisichella's time. He did a 53.0, and I want to beat it. I want to be at least the one with the fastest lap time for our team. Do I have something to prove? No. If I say the fastest lap time that Fisichella, does it mean that I'm a better driver? Of course not. But I always want to have a goal when I get into the kart. And right now, this is it. I get in and I see just behind me, it's Vankov. It's a driver with a purple helmet, which is in my opinion one of the fastest Bulgarian drivers. And as soon as he catches up, I will let him pass. In this kind of races, there is no point in battling with drivers from other teams, especially when they're in another category. But this guy, for me, is a great benchmark to have out on track. If he pulls away quickly, then that's a bad sign. But if after a few laps, when I've found my pace, the gap stays consistent, then we are doing really great. In my third lap, I'm seeing a 53.8. Good start. Now let's find more pace. I'm feeling confident now, and on this reverse layout, I feel way stronger. I think it suits me better as a driver, and especially this first corner, oh man, it's just unreal. You go in flat out and you dive in the first right-hander with some trail braking. I don't know if that feeling really comes across the video, but in person, it's an epic corner. Few laps ahead and I improved to 53.4. We keep improving. Oh man, these crazy races with endless teams. I won't hide it, I envy the Bulgarians when it comes to this. What they've built is incredible, and the level of the drivers in the races keeps going higher and higher, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Let's go back to my stint now, which is going better. I've become one with the kart. Even with overtakes happening, my lap times remain low. And remember the Bulgarian driver I mentioned earlier, Vankov? I can still see him in front of me at a stable distance. So we are doing really well. The pace is strong and I want to hit my goal. I'm trying to overtake people in a way that it doesn't cost me much time. My strategy is to wait for the right moment, not to dive in at the first opportunity. Because here, even the slower drivers may be like 4 to 5 tenths of my pace. It's rare to find someone that's truly much slower. So if I stay behind someone for 2 or 3 corners, I'm not losing much. But if I go for a risky move from way back behind, it could cost a lot of time in just one corner. That's what works for me, but of course everyone has their own driving style. And this stint is going just the way I want it. The car feels strong and my lap times keep dropping and I'm getting closer and closer to my target. But after a bit, my phone ran out of battery and shut off. So from this point, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know my lap times, but I feel that I'm going fast. I've only a few more laps left and I want to achieve my goal. And what was in the end my fastest lap time? 52.9. Call me fanboy, say whatever you want, but having Fisichella say, well done to me, gave me a huge smile. And now it's his turn again, but we won't have any other on-board clip of him.
I did 52.
Really?
52.9,
Oh,
yeah.
why?
So I cannot say that I've been a Formula 1 driver.
Eventually, it will be my turn again at the end of the race to finish it. So many of you probably expected we'll be going for a strong result, a win, a podium even, but sadly that didn't happen. We had some stints that we lost a lot of time, and by the end we had 6 lap worth of penalties, so we finished way down the order. But personally, I don't care at all. This race was all for fun, and what meant the world to me was just being next to such a big Formula 1 name. Fisichella was calm all day, but always smiling, always happy to take a photo or talk with fans. And honestly, when he put the helmet and went on track, he was a straight up killer. And for me, this will forever be an unforgettable experience. And see you on the track!